YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, coming to you from the middle of a pack of man-rippers with Morgor the Shadow Gave. I don't know why they call him like the one-handed crab goat man thing. I don't, he's horribly ugly in every way. But anyway, the Beastmen are going to be taking on the High Elves, and they are going to find themselves in an extremely difficult match here. This is going to be a really interesting battle between Reginald Puggington and over on the other side, Chicken Wing, who sits at number 5 atop the leaderboard. So someone with a lot of experience, a lot of victories, and he has brought an absolutely gruesome High Elf army for the Beastmen to contend with. It's definitely one of those ones where someone knows the other faction well, and you can tell by the way they picked their army. And so if we take a look at it, he's got 4 Illyrian Reaver archers for a lot of mobile nuisance against a faction that is fairly low armor. He's got Alarielle the Radiant on a horse, so she's very quick. And he's obviously got the Star of Avalorn, Earthblood, and he's also got Foz Protection in there, which is an important spell. There's a Star Dragon to do the damage. There are a few token infantry units, 2 White Lions, just to get a little bit of anti-infantry work done, and then 2 Spearmen. Otherwise, he's got hybrid units here with Lothern Seaguard. There's going to be several of them, 4 in total, I should say, not several, and then 1 standard archer. The Beastmen have forward deployed a few units. There's some Poison Warhounds working in conjunction with Centaurs with great weapons. Definitely a pick I would make as the Beastmen. There's 1 more great weapon Centaur over there, and there are 2 Centaurs with throwing axes that could be really important here to try and take on the Star Dragon. As far as infantry, we've got some Ungor Herd, the Blackhorns Ravagers, which is a Gore Herd, more Ungor Herd. There's 1 Bestigor Herd, and then we got the Koroks Manrippers, which is also a Bestigor Herd, the 1 Ungor Spear Herd, and then Gore Bull. There is a Bray Shaman, Lore of Death, running about as well, and he's got Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech. This is going to be a really tough battle for the Beastmen. A really tough battle, because they're going to get picked at, and anything they try to attack, you'll notice the spread out formation from the High Elves here. The intent is to spread the Beastmen everywhere, and then the dragon basically just picks his meal. He's got terror, and you're going to spread out. You won't have any way to protect against that dragon in any one of these engagements, and so the High Elf player is counting on doing tons of damage from range, and then picking you apart piecemeal every time that he's given an opportunity. There comes a Dragon Breath right there. I think it may have been intended for Gorebull, but it catches quite a few Centaurs, actually. The Centaurs get a little damage done on the dragon, not much. Here's that Bray Shaman. You can see that by the time these Blackhorns Ravagers even get into combat, they'll be beat up. The Warhounds will hit these Lothern Seaguard, sure, but they won't do a ton of damage. You need something like this Centaur with great weapon. See how much more damage it did on the charge when it got a rear charge. You just can't stick around in an engagement with these Lothern Seaguard, though. See what I mean by the dragon? All he has to do is just poke his head in, make sure ensures a route there, basically. Gorebull is going to be a tough customer, and Morgor will be relatively difficult to kill too. He is resistant to missiles, and he heals, and he's going to spawn some Chaos Spawn when he gets in and gets into combat, so it'll make him a little tougher to kill. What's really going to determine the winner here is if the High Elf player takes care of the Star Dragon and doesn't let it get into a disadvantageous situation. All these Centaurs with great weapons could do a lot of damage to the Star Dragon. They don't have leadership support, though, and they're likely to rout, and you can see this one already did. They're right next to the edge of the map. If you can really surround that Star Dragon and keep a Gorebull or something nearby to help with leadership, then Centaurs with great weapons would do tremendous damage. And you can see the Shaman being used for some Spirit Leech. And again, see the Dragon's just going to pick off any weak link. He's so far been very successful at it. The terror routes are going to be difficult to avoid. A few Lothern Seaguard went down here, and then some Ungor Herd going to get into some spears. You've got the Chaos Spawns, but the Koroks Manrippers took a ton of damage. Gorebull is kind of out on his own, looking for individual targets. Probably hoping to catch archers. Alarielle is probably his real target here. Yeah. But Alarielle will not be caught. She's too fast. She'll take a hit or two maybe on a mistake, but she's not going to be easily caught. You can see the Star Dragon being healed with the Star of Avalorn, which is going to be its main purpose here. And again, this spread out fight This is exactly what the High Elf player is hoping for. A few spots, though, where the Beastmen are doing good. They're going to clear out some of these Illyrian Reaver archers. That is a job well done. Right here, though, the Bray Shaman gets left alone, and that's not good news because of all the magic that he has and the damage that he can do. With Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech, I would think Fate of Buna would probably be the better spell. It does take a lot of magic, though, but Fate of Buna can cause some intense damage. There it's going to be. Nicely done. Might as well use that magic up because the dragon's obviously going to be a big risk. The Centaurs with throwing axes are a nice counter to the dragon if they can stay in position to take advantage of that. There's Morgur, some more Lothern Seaguard getting attacked. These spearmen actually winning out over here against the Ungor herd, and the Man Rippers are fighting some White Lions of trash. With that few Man Rippers, the White Lions may win. You can see over here the Warhounds. Alarielle would be an interesting unit to have hit with the Warhounds. She got singled out over here. If they could have tied down her with the Warhounds and then followed it up with some Centaurs, especially a great weapon variant, they could have killed Alarielle pretty quickly. They could have poisoned her long enough to get the other ones in there, but those units just aren't available right now. In fact, I think a lot of the Centaurs with great weapons have been routed. Just swing around the battlefield here. You can see the dragon just trying to avoid the throwing axes. Smart move. Definitely what he needs to do. And then over here, there is still a Bestigor herd escorting Morgur the Shadowgave, which is going to be of huge value here to help take out a lot of the remaining High Elf infantry. A Bestigor herd is vastly superior to the White Lions, and as long as it can be kept safe from the dragon, it'll get some pretty important work done. There's going to be a rear charge here from these Centaurs, trying to do as much damage as they can. These Centaurs don't look like they actually had an attack on Alarielle, but they managed to get mixed up. And the dragon's coming over to give some help against that pocket. The Man Rippers and some Ungor Spear herd regroup. And here, like I said, you can see the Bestigor herd chewing their way through those two High Elf infantry, but there's a bunch of archers out in the woods that had been pursued by this Chaos Spawn. It lost its movement order. It's now going to get another one. That's going to be good. They definitely need to push these archers off of their targets over here. Very close battle right now. The Bray Shaman Lore of Death is attempting to get back close to the fight. I'm assuming he's wanting a Spirit Leech. We'll see. Alarielle's chasing off some of these Centaurs with throwing axes. The terror route there. They weren't able to get away from the dragon fast enough. Warbull did some damage, but the dragon can just fly away. And the Death Shaman gets caught out by Alarielle, who should be more than capable of KOing this Death Shaman here. She's tougher than you would think. Look at that melee defense, 67. It's a big deal. It's a real big deal. So Beastmen units regrouping and fighting, and again, it is going to be a relatively close battle, but the Beastmen have lost a lot of their fast-moving units. And look at this. This is right on strategy for what the High Elves need. There was a unit singled out. Bestigor herd instantly terror routes. Dragon gets healed, and High Elf infantry gets freed from combat. So that's what makes this type of build dangerous. You get singled out and the dragon picks you apart. And if you stay in a group, then you probably get surrounded by archers and shot to death. So it's one of those ones where you're going to have to force the player with this type of build to make mistakes. And there have been mistakes made by Chicken Wing, and Puggington has cashed in on some of them. And we'll see whether he's got enough left. His two Centaurs with throwing axes regrouped along with Morgur, the Gorbull, the Blackhorn Ravagers. This Bestigor herd is regrouping, but it's taken a little bit of archer fire. We'll see whether or not he gets it back into the group here. As for the High Elves, they've got some Reaver archers with no ammo. There are some Lothern Seaguard that do still have ammo. The dragon is in pretty good health. Alarielle is essentially untouched. And she's going to hit Earthblood on all these units here and make them even stronger. So, the Beastmen fighting a very uphill battle. At this point, a very uphill battle. Ooh, the Centaurs want to go in the woods after the archers, but the problem is this will single them out for potential dragon hits too. And then the Reaver archers are going to move that way. So these Centaurs with throwing axes need to just turn tail and run. Stay away from those archers. Beastmen are making for the woods. That's probably a good choice for them. It would slow down the movement of large units and give them some protection from the missiles. We'll see if that's where they continue to go. Call of Violence to use there to keep the leadership up. And let's see exactly how this plays out. There's still some High Elf units. The White Lion came back. And there's an Illyrian Reaver routing in the far distance there. A lot of ammo left on these archers. A lot of potential damage that they can do. And the charges from these Illyrian Reavers will be none too pleasant for any Beastmen infantry this late in the game. Yeah, the Reaver archers are desperately trying to get rid of these Centaurs with throwing axes. And you can see the Centaurs desperately trying to avoid it. Alariel is just going to be impossible to catch. Ooh, a really good Dragon Breath on Gorbel. Did some serious damage. Alariel is actually going to take the combat here. She won't want to take that combat for long, but that's strange. Gorbel retreated. Must have known the dragon was about to charge him in the back. They're going to get this fight started, but Alariel puts down an Earth Blood. So I just don't think Gorbel is going to be strong enough to cut his way through a Star Dragon while everything else is attacking him and distracting him. Everything the Beastmen have has been engaged. You can see his Bestigor herd taking fire from the archers. They're just no longer going to be able to function. Terror routes begin. Gorbel is immune to psychology. Morgur is not, actually, I don't think. Yeah, he is too. They're both immune to psychology, and they're lucky, or else they would have already routed. And they're about to rout anyway, just due to low leadership. Look at that, the dragon's hit points haven't gone down at all. Foz protection, Earth Blood, just not going to happen. So Alariel and her dragon and the remnants of the High Elf army here is going to shut down Morgur once and for all. Gorbel is routed. He won't be the Emperor this time. So a pretty epic battle here. This was a very difficult uphill battle for the Beastmen, and I have to commend Puggington for a game well played. A lot of players would lose that battle very, very badly. He made it a valiant defeat. It is tough to fight those types of battles, again, when your opponent knows the game so well that they can pick an army that they know will be extremely difficult for you to take out, because what he brought probably isn't what Puggington expected to come up against, right? Probably expected to have a little more normal type of infantry line to go fighting against. Maybe some dragon princes or something else like that too. Star Dragon's not unheard of and is honestly a good pick versus the Beastmen. Anything that causes terror and is big and flies is going to give the Beastmen trouble. Alariel with her healing makes her extremely valuable at being able to keep your units alive longer, and that's just another problem the Beastmen have to contend with in that fight. But this was really a tremendous fight. Thank you to both players. I hope you all learned something from Chicken Wing's pick here. There will be some out there, and on some days, myself included, who don't like people going out and picking these kind of armies. But, again, it demonstrates the knowledge of the game, the amount of time in the game, that you can pick something that you know will, for most Beastmen armies, be an absolute pain in the butt to rip apart. And so you can see that this pick, it was picked very specifically. He was able to execute it. There were a few mistakes here and there, again, that allowed Puggington to make this battle very close. But in the end, when you really get down to it, it was a close battle and a valiant defeat. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Puggington, but when you've got Alariel at full health and a Star Dragon at almost half, it wasn't super close, actually. You know what I mean? It was and it wasn't, because that's a tall order. to tear down these two units with that much health left. Again, I think Puggington played it good. It could have gone a whole lot worse, but nevertheless, it was a tough battle. So good game to Chicken Wing, good game to Puggington. Enjoyed watching this one. Enjoyed getting to kind of, again, learn a little bit about the mind of a player who has won enough battles to position themselves on the leaderboard like that. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. That'll help other people find the video, and I appreciate it. It helps me as well. I will see you all soon with some more content.